Cookies by TheWriter. Audio performance by Dimension Bucket. With music by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com and Miyuji. Killing everyone on the planet wouldn't bring her back, you know, said Harrison. No. I crushed an animal cracker thoughtfully, looking out over the city. But it would make me feel better. Besides, I'm not going to kill everyone. That would be silly. I looked over my shoulder at the frazzled police detective. He was everything you could want in an upright cop. But damn if he didn't come from a city that didn't appreciate him. You think that blowing everyone up is going to make you feel better? He said, exasperated. Rightfully so. I shrugged, taking the last handful of animal crackers from the bag. I'm not the one that dropped a tomahawk missile in someone's house when they were at home minding their own business, I snapped, biting the head off a camel and watching the skyline. Apparently someone doesn't know how to hit beehives with sticks. I could feel my pulse quickening, and dust rushed away from me in a great ring. Harrison's trench coat flapped violently with the harsh wind that wasn't there before. I sighed, regaining my composure, and the wind died down. The great well of power that had taken up residence inside me frothed with need, but I could still calm it to a simmer. For now. They thought you were a threat to national security. I wasn't before, but I sure as hell am now. I gave him my best arrogant grin. Do you know what the Japanese said right after they bombed Pearl Harbor? He stared at me blankly, so I answered him. We're afraid we've woken the sleeping giant. The USA, that is. I sat on a rock while he fished for things to say. I'll make them all wish they'd left me alone, left my house and my wife and my goddamn backyard tire swing alone. I glared at the gathering of sweet animals in my palm, then crushed them into a spattering of crumbs. Harrison paled, scrubbing his mustache with his thumb and forefinger. He didn't understand. His wife wasn't dead, killed by a government-funded projectile the size of a small car that was intended for him. His wife was not an acceptable loss, as deemed by some jerk-off behind a desk somewhere, hundreds of miles away. Where will you go? Detective Harrison said, after some silence. Wherever I want, I said, cocking my head as I realized what a child I sounded like. But what did it matter? It didn't matter. Vegas, Atlanta, LA, the usual famous landmarks you see being destroyed in the movies. I chuckled. I rose from my rocky seat, wanting to stem the furious boiling agony inside me. I allowed a sliver of power to escape in my wake. The rock I was sitting on suddenly collapsed into sand-sized gravel. Harrison stepped back as though he might also turn to dust and blow away in the wind. You think. He couldn't think of any more scolding things to say to me. No, I don't think, I said, pulling at the endless well of raw power deep within me. I just feel, and right now, I feel, things are too complicated. Time to simplify, I said. Not everyone like me wears a cape and a mask, like in the comic books. I raised my hands in a wide gesture towards the city. Not that there's anyone out there like me, that is. I'm one of a kind. I smiled over my shoulder at him as the low rumbling began. You're crazy. You'll slaughter millions, Harrison said, aghast. Tell that to whoever dropped a missile on my fucking roof. I turned back to the city, eyes on the skyline, and closed my hands into fists. Buildings began to fall, bridges began to crack by my will. I was too far away to hear the people, standing on the lip of the valley that overlooked the city, but I could hear the hum, the tone of vibrating air, as nothing at all seemed to bend buildings to my power until they broke like stubborn tree limbs. The hum-in was beautiful, like a thunderstorm in the distance. Cookies was written by TheWriter and performed by Dimension Bucket. The song Retro Future Clean is by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. And the song Rise and Fall is by Miyu at youtube.com/user/MiuG. Thank you for listening to this performance.